Coming at you live from the Ron Miller Race Cars Hammer Down Racing Report studio.
It just feels like April, Scott.
Well, today it does.
Yeah.
Yesterday it didn't. Day before.
No, I know that, but it just doesn't seem like...
Well, we went from like August to April.
Yeah.
Why not? I don't know. Coming at you live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Oh, and I also I saw just this morning that we are number 215 on iTunes.
Really?
In Canada, in our specific category.
Really?
Yeah, only in Canada and only in our specific category.
Well, okay.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting. Usually we don't show up there. Most of our listeners actually watch us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
Where are
but one of our guests, though, he actually listens to the podcast on Spotify. So.
Really? Where are we in India this week?
I did not look.
Oh.
I did not look. I'm sure we're doing well, as we always are. Tonight on the show, we are going to speak with Jonathan Martin, one of Tony Kanaan's spotters, who finished third at the Indy 500.
Yeah.
Also CRA racer. He's got a lot of interesting things that I'm looking forward to talking to him about. We're also going to speak to Jesse Jones. He's in the studio with us tonight. He picked up his second consecutive Sportsman feature win out at Oakshade. Granted, it was like a long time between wins because it was the last win of last season and the first win of this season.
But still consecutive.
Exactly. And we have Ryan Weekman from WTOL 11 with the weekend weather pit stop. I think it's a pretty good one this
is going to be the best one he's had for a while.
I think so. Before we get to Jonathan, got to pay a couple bills here. Oakshade Raceway will be hosting the Dirt Track Truck Series this Saturday, with gates opening at 4, racing at 7. The late model Sportsman and Dominator Superstocks back in action. So check out OakshadeRaceway.com. Follow them on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. It's where the fastest.
Will the compacts be there this week?
Compacts are off this week.
Oh, okay.
Dirt Track Truck Series. DTTS.
Preempted them.
Is preempted. They'll be back the following week, though. Contact Freeze Frame Photos for all your racing photo needs, from action shots to victory lane. They have all of your favorite drivers, every single one of them, guaranteed. Or Charlie will give you a free picture. I'm not sure if that's a real special or not, so take that with a grain of salt.
If he doesn't have it, then nobody does.
They also do special photo shoots by appointment. Contact Charlie at Freeze Frame Photos, 419-476-9978. They also have all those custom knickknacks, calendars, doodads.
Does he do weddings when they're not on Saturdays?
I don't know.
Does he do graduation pictures?
Possibly. Call him and ask. Also, shout out to Big D's Pizza, Subs, Ribs, Chicken, and more in Clyde, Ohio. Give them a call right now, 419-547-1444, and you can probably have a pizza by the time we're done. Or you can order online.
Or a pizza burger.
Order BigD'sPizza.com. Yeah, they have the pizza burger. They also have new homemade nacho chips.
Really?
Which I saw. Yeah, they just had that last week.
Ooh.
Big on taste, not on price. It's Big D's Pizza. They're now hiring, too, so if you need a job.
Now that the weather's getting better, I think we need to do another live remote.
Yes, and I talked to Dean about this.
We're
talking about having like a car show kind of thing, kind of deal. Maybe on a Sunday when there's no races going on. So let's bring in our first guest, and actually we'll add Jesse Jones here too, since he's in the studio with us. Say hi, Jesse.
Hola.
Jonathan Martin, our first guest here with us. Thanks for coming on. I guess I can't do the.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Can't make the one person bigger thing when I have 4 people on here. So I guess bottom left square, Jonathan Martin. Congratulations, I guess, on a third place finish at the Indy 500. How does one become a spotter for Tony Kanaan?
The Indy 500 was pretty good. I would be lying if I didn't say I was a little disappointed we got third. After being so close there at the end.
That's at least 2 of us. Yeah. I was really pulling for TK.
Yeah, I was too. Another Ganassi car won, so that was the grand scheme thing. That was the team goal, so that was good. But as far as becoming a spotter for Tony Kanaan, I always kind of tell everybody I'm like a professional backup spotter. So whenever someone whenever the real guy can't do it, and whenever there's a schedule conflict or they add a car like they did at Ganassi this year and having Tony's car, I've been lucky enough to build enough relationships with guys over the years in racing, and I get the phone call and get a lot of cool opportunities because of it.
So how many spotters does he actually have at the Indy 500?
There's 2, so everybody's got 2. So there's the main spotters in turn 1, and then myself and another group of guys are all in turn 3 there at the top of the stands.
And you've done this. This wasn't your first year doing it. You've done this before.
Yeah, this is my fourth year in a row. So the first 2 years I did with AJ Foy Racing, and then the last 2 years I've been with Ganassi. So I actually spotted for Marcus Ericsson last year. So apparently knocking me off the team was all he needed to get.
So what? I mean, there had to be some talk going on. I don't know if you were involved in any of the strategizing there with the green white checkered finish while he was sitting there in third. What was the talk going on the radio?
I mean, at that point, it's kind of all in Tony's hands, right? Like it's up to him to get a good start and just kind of see what he can do with it. So really, it was just kind of the timing stand came over the radio, gave him a couple good words of encouragement to kind of make sure he was pumped up and ready to go. And I don't think he needed it because he was ready. So Tony was pretty, as far as spotting for, was actually fairly difficult for me because he's kind of an old school racer, right? And he's used to racing without a spotter. So he didn't really like a lot of information. So like very basic information that he wanted. So for me, like it was really good to have all the practice that we did, and because it was a lot different from my normal cadence and how I spot. So trying to like learn what he needed. And we had a lot of conversations during the week and through practice and what he needed to hear, as far as the runs coming from behind and what all specifics that he needed at certain times in the race. So, but everybody did a great job on the team and ended up with 2 cars in the top 5. So
you guys discussed all of this pre-race. He didn't just come over the radio and say, "Well, you guys shut up."
Yeah, absolutely. No, I got that earlier in the week in the second day of practice. So, but yeah, after every practice, I mean, we're on the track for, over like 30 hours of practice the week before. So we get a lot of time to communicate with each other and kind of figure out what he needs and what he wants to hear. So
now, is this the only race then that you spot?
That's probably the only IndyCar race I'll do this year. There's possibly some opportunities for me to do some IMSA races and stuff with Ganassi's cars, the Cadillac team. And then I'll do a handful of NASCAR races for Junior Motorsports when they have the 5th car with Miguel Paludo coming up, not this weekend in Portland, but at like Watkins Glen and Indy, and then Road America as well. I'll be there helping those guys out too. So,
how different is it to spot on a road course as opposed to an oval?
It's way different. So the oval I'm a little more comfortable with. The only thing that's really more difficult about the road course is usually they change directions. So they're coming at you and then going away from you. So like your left and right changes, as the driver's coming to you, the left and right's backwards or vice versa. So that's just, you just got to make sure you don't tell them the wrong side. But the road courses are fun, because you have 3 or 4 guys, 3 or 4 spotters. So talking the same thing before the race, talking about where you're handing them off and where you're picking them up and making sure your communication is similar so that the driver knows exactly what you're talking about.
Now you mentioned Dale Jr. My source tells me that you were a former engineer for Dale Jr.'s nationwide team.
I was. So back in 2015, I was an engineer on the 88 car, which is what they called the All-Star car that year. That's the year that Casey Kane and Kevin Harvick, Dale Jr. and Ben Rhodes drove. That was a lot of fun. That was a great opportunity. We got to win a couple races and really got to experience a lot of things. I'm an engineer, so that's the whole reason I went to school, was to do something like that. So getting that opportunity was a dream. It didn't turn out to be what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I learned pretty quickly that life on the road and doing that kind of stuff just wasn't going to be for me long term, but I'm super thankful for the opportunity that I got to do it and experience it for sure.
Your degree is in mechanical engineering?
Yes, sir, from Purdue.
Very good.
So what exactly?
And Ryan Newman.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny you say that because it's actually kind of like, I was always a big NASCAR fan growing up and race fan, and he was kind of coming up through the ranks when I was little, and he always talked about Ryan Newman being a Purdue engineer and how it helped his racing, and that's kind of honestly that's kind of where that came from, that desire came from. So it's pretty cool. You never know what little tidbit on TV is gonna change the direction of your life, right?
So what exactly did you do as an engineer for Dale Jr.?
So at Junior Motorsports, it varies from team to team, obviously, in the resources and things that each team has. For our organization, when I was there, each car had 2 engineers, so primary and secondary engineer. And really, it was just my role. Every part had a part number. Every part number had an associated measurement. And the car was built in a simulation program. And the engineers and the crew chiefs we'd get together, run simulations, determine what we were going to run that week, what changes we were going to put in the car. And we had the pull down rig and all the really cool tools and setup stuff that we would simulate all the things and grab a bunch of data. And then once we made some sim runs on the pull down rig and things of that nature, we would come to a final decision on what the car we were going to go to the racetrack with. And then my role at the racetrack was making sure that the measurements and what we decided was going to be was what was actually in the car, and that the changes were made correctly. And then the kind of logging all the data and during the race, being the guy calculating the fuel mileage and spying on everybody's radio frequencies too, and seeing when they're coming down pit road. So
your thoughts on the next gen or the new generation of Cup cars?
I think it's pretty cool. I was pretty skeptical of them. I'm kind of a purist. So I don't like some of the bigger changes that they made. I'm not a big fan of the transmission, which was more of an H pattern. I think the tire thing they got to figure out. I hate watching a car being stuck and not be able to drive away just because.
Yeah, that's the biggest drawback that I've seen.
Yeah, but overall, I think the racing's been better at some of the tracks. I think they still got some things to work on, but it's pretty cool. I still have some contacts, obviously in North Carolina, some friends and stuff I made, and I know it's been a really big transition for them, and it kind of changed the whole scope of their job, day in and day out. So
now, on top of being an engineer, spotter, you also do some racing, right?
I do. I've been racing since I was 8. So I started racing go-karts when I was 8. Started racing cars.
There you go, Jesse.
started racing cars when I was 14. And then started racing like modifieds and late models when I was 17, and kind of been racing ever since. And I've done a little bit of everything, but right now we have a CRA All-Star Series car, a Pro Series late model. Hopefully we'll have done here in a few weeks and finally get to go racing.
When's the last time you've been out on the track racing?
We ran the CRA Sportsman race last October at the Winchester 400 weekend. So we finished second there. So that was good motivation for over the winter to get one spot better when we get there next year.
Now you've run Angola and Bearfield. What are some of the other tracks you run? I've
been all over. I ran the USA Modified Tour as well. So all over Michigan, Kalamazoo, Berlin, Ileana. I can't think of them off the top of my head. Winchester, Salem, Angola, Anderson, Flat Rock, Toledo. We've been Nashville. We've been all over the place.
Do you have a favorite track?
Winchester is my all-time favorite.
Why is that?
It's you gotta. I really like the fast places, and Winchester's about as fast as you can get. And the sense of speed you get there is not like you go in the corner and you feel like your cheeks are gonna hit your knees, and you're looking out the top of your window looking for the straightaway, and it's just it's a rush making a lap around there by yourself, let alone racing with a bunch of other guys too. So it's a good time.
Have you run Toledo Speedway?
I have. We ran there quite a bit in the modified series back in like 2011, 2017. Yep.
Not as fast as Winchester.
Oh no.
It's fast, but it's not near as fast as Winchester.
Yeah, I haven't been to Winchester. So I don't know. I know I've seen it on TV.
Think about a half mile Bristol.
Bristol is a half mile.
A lot of banking.
And I would say I've raced both. So I've raced at Bristol too.
Oh, okay.
And, Bristol was we're always really good at Winchester. Like we've always had really good cars there. It's probably one of my stronger tracks as a driver too, in my opinion. So I thought we'd be really good at Bristol. And we were terrible at Bristol because the speeds are about the same, but the setup's different because the car loads totally differently. And Bristol's really smooth, and you run the bottom, and the transitions are really smooth, right? So there's no like really spiked loads in the car and things. So you don't feel running by yourself at Bristol. You don't really feel like you're going that fast. It almost feels more like a Toledo. But when someone screws up in front of you and you catch them really quick, then you realize how fast you're going. So, but Winchester is so rough and bumpy, and you're running by the wall. You never have a sense. You always have a sense of how fast you're going and how much it's going to hurt if you screw up.
Winchester or Salem?
Winchester.
Okay.
Yeah.
I assume you've run Salem.
I have. Yeah. That's about as bumpy a place as you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any opinions on Bearfield since that track has kind of laid dormant for the past few years?
Man, I wish it would come back. I grew up racing there and racing go-karts and all the way when I started racing modifieds in 2006 or whatever. So, man, I have a ton of history there. So a couple track championships there. So I don't know. I've heard there's always a bunch of rumors, about what's going to happen and what's not. And who knows, but I hope, I think it's in better hands now than it was. And better chance. So I think the possibility is better than it was 2 years ago. But there's a lot that has to happen.
Now you or your father, I guess, has On Track Ministries. You want to tell us a little bit about that? Yeah,
absolutely. So kind of when I started racing go-karts back in 97, my dad's also a pastor. He pastors a church in Auburn, Indiana called Raceway Church. He was a pastor in Columbia City at the time. We just saw a bunch of families there at the racetrack that needed ministered to and needed told about Jesus and how much Jesus loves them. So we started On Track Ministries, just kind of help minister to the people at the racetrack that were probably not going to be the normal Sunday crowd and trying to take church to them and tell them about a more important race in life. So he still gets to he does a lot of things with CRA still and a bunch of local track stuff too. So he's been a big supporter of mine throughout my whole career, and definitely wouldn't be where I'm at without all my family's help and everything they've done for me.
Now, I see that you do some iRacing too.
I do. I don't do as much as I would like to. Having kids kind of put I only get to do it after bedtime, and then I learned real quick that I have to get up for work too the next morning. So staying up till 2 or 3 a.m. is not really an option anymore. But I love it. I could spend all day on it if I had the time to. So,
do you have one of those big fancy rigs with seat and everything?
I wouldn't call it a big fancy rig. I hillbillied it up a little bit. I made one out of some scrap wood, and I bought a seat online.
That's right. You're an engineer. You could build your own.
Right. I have 3 screens, like the 3-screen deal. So I'm slowly upgrading it. Maybe one day I'll get a really nice rig, but it sits in our guest bedroom closet is just big enough to put 3 screens in there. So that's where the rig sits.
It's got to be cheaper though than running your CRA All-Star car.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Like starting out when you're buying all the equipment, you wouldn't think so, but that stuff gets pretty expensive too.
When you push that reset button, that makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, getting the car ready for the next race is a lot easier on there than it is working in the garage. That's for sure.
Now, with everything that you have your hands in here, racing, spotting, what do you have a favorite? Is being in the car your favorite thing? Do you prefer spotting? What is it that you enjoy doing most?
I enjoy winning. So it doesn't really matter. I don't really care what it is. I mean, obviously the driving is a lot of fun, right? And but just being involved at all, from helping guys set up their cars to spotting to whatever, I enjoy winning. So racing, I just love racing in general. If I never drive again, it's okay. I'm going to go spot. I'm going to go work on cars. If I never get to spot again, I'm going to race. Right. So, I love the sport, and I hope it just continues to grow and get better. And it's kind of challenging times right now with the economy and how expensive it is. So, I think it's just important we do what we can to keep it going for, the younger generation, like my son. Who knows what it's going to look like in 30 years when he's my age. So
I understand that Speedway Illustrated is looking for some tech writers if you need one more hat to wear.
I think I'm not much of a writer. I'm more of a numbers engineer.
So what if you could pick one thing to do for the rest of your life? Which would it be?
As far as a profession?
Yeah, as far as the racing thing, the spotting, the racing, playing on iRacing.
Definitely drive, for sure. So there's nothing that racing's, any aspect of racing is a lot of fun. They all have their special quirks about them, but there's nothing better than driving for sure.
Now, in any of your spotting experience, was this third place with Kanaan the top finish that you've had while spotting, or has there been a better finish?
That's my best Indy 500 finish. So I've got to work with a lot of really good late model drivers like Johnny Van Dorn and Bubba Pollard and a couple of those guys. So I've been fortunate enough to win some races with guys like that. I'd say probably my biggest win as a spotter was the Redbud 400 at Anderson with Van Dorn back a few years ago. We won a couple races together that year, so that was a lot of fun. But that was definitely, as far as big races I spotted, that was probably the highlight of my of that side of it for sure.
Is Ganassi and is Kanaan going to race next year? And are you going to be back spotting again for the Indy 500?
It's all up in the air. I'm sure I'll be spotting for someone in Indy 500. I'm confident in that, making the connections and even if it's a different team or whatever. But we'll just have to see. I think Kanaan wants to come back, but I also think it all comes down to the money too, and if he can get the sponsors to go run it. So it's an expensive race to run.
Who wouldn't have their hand up to sponsor TK?
Yeah, I know, right? I agree. I'm down. I'll advocate for him. I'm ready to do it again because we got 2 more spots to get for next year. So
there you go.
Now, as a spotter, how long would it take you to get from your perch down to victory lane if your driver did win?
Well, I wish I could tell you from firsthand experience, but I cannot. But it takes a while to get just off the stands because we have to walk actually down through the stands, through the people that are also trying to get out. So I was standing next to the guy, Chad Sims and Mark Gregory were the spotters for Marcus this year. And I was standing next to Chad. He was in turn 3 with me, and he was like, he looked down and he saw he wasn't going to get out of there fast. So he's like taking the stuff off pretty slow. And we're all like, go, like you need to run. Like I'll carry your stuff back to the hauler, like run, So I think he commandeered a golf cart somewhere about halfway there and they drove him onto victory lane. But you definitely missed the first portion of it. That's for sure. So, but he still got to kiss the bricks and get his picture taken. So that's all that matters.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm sure the partying goes on well into the night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially since you don't have to work the next day too.
Well, they had to be at the track. They had to be at the track at 9 a.m. for photos. So for official photos. So yeah.
Did anybody sleep at all?
Well, when's you said you're going to be getting your car back soon? What's going on with your car?
I got the motor getting freshened up, and the car right now is at Pro Wake Water Sports. Getting the wrap on it too while we're waiting on the motor. So we're going to get back and hopefully a couple weeks have everything to put the thing together. So once we get it back, we'll get some Cornwell tools and whip that thing together and be ready to go.
I'm assuming Cornwell, is that a sponsor?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
and any other sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
That was pretty intuitive, Scott.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
It's Pro Wake Water Sports and the Pro Wake Surf Shop. Without those and my car owner Mark Richards, we wouldn't have an opportunity to go racing. So I'm really thankful for the relationship I have with those guys. Steve Hammond at Cornwell Tools has been with me for probably like 8 to 10 years now. Really appreciate his friendship. And Tony Dagger at Economy Auto Parts and Burbage Built Homes in Florida, actually. So we got a lot of cool partners and a lot of people and very fortunate to have those relationships that allow me to go get the spot and get to do some cool things, and then get to come home and go racing myself too.
So where do you think your next race is going to be?
We'll have to see. I'll probably go to Angola the first couple times and just shake it down because that's closest to home. And then we're going to hit up some CRA All-Star, some pro races, hopefully middle later the year. And the biggest thing is, I just want to make sure we're competitive. Like I said, I like to win, so we don't go to the racetrack just to ride around. We want to make sure we're ready to go. So, however long that takes before we go hit up some bigger shows.
Well, our guests have a history of going on to win their next race after being on the show. So,
that's good.
Time, the past few weeks though, people have been letting us down. So, so no pressure to you.
I think over our entire history, Scott, we're probably 85-90%.
Maybe 75, sure, whatever, We're above 50.
Way.
I'll take that.
All right. Well, Jonathan, we appreciate the time, and awesome talking with you, and hope to keep in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And good luck at Angola once you get that car back together.
When you win the next race, give us a call.
Yeah, let us know.
I will do. All right.
All right.
Thanks, Jonathan.
All right, we'll see you. There you go, Jonathan Martin, Tony Kanaan spotter, as well as CRA racer, former engineer over there at Dale Junior Motorsports,
ex go-kart racer, and
there
you go, Jesse.
We have a current go-kart race. You still run go-karts, right?
Here and there.
Okay.
They're a little rough on the body.
Who we got? Jesse Jones in the studio. We'll be talking to him momentarily. First, got to do our racing roundup, some of the results from last weekend, Memorial Day weekend, big racing weekend. First, before that, though, shout out to Ron Miller Race Cars and Dominator Race Products, a couple of our other sponsors, forgot to mention.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did you get oil, by the way?
Yes, I did.
And filters?
Yes, I did.
All right. I know where I'm going right after the show.
Works for me.
Attica Raceway Park and Lima Land. Our Friday racing last week was rained out, unfortunately.
Flooded out,
yeah, something like that. I think the week before it was the Saturday tracks that got rained out. But so things even out in the end, I guess.
Elmira got most of their show in, except for the features. Oh, Jess.
Yeah, just the heats. Well, they got the kids. They got all the kids features in.
Okay.
So that's good.
That's the important stuff.
Yes.
Saturday night, Oakshade Raceway. Devin Shields picking up the late model win there. 4-time track champion.
Yeah.
4-time. And, of course, this gentleman right here, Jesse Jones, picking up the Sportsman feature win. Colin Schilt won the Dominator Superstock A main. Eric Carr won the Compact A. Gary DeMoe won the B main for the Superstocks. And Brandon Profit was our Compact B main winner at Oakshade. Fremont Speedway. Saturday night, also, Nate Dussel won the Fast 410 Sprint feature event. Brian Ruhlman was the Boss non-wing Sprint. He's getting...
Did he break the track record, too?
Yes, he did.
Did he?
And he won his heat race.
He's really getting into the sprint car thing.
Led the entire feature.
I thought this was just going to be a fad when he started getting into sprint cars 2 years ago.
I think he's found his calling.
Yeah, he's really getting into it, and he's doing well. Seth Snyder won the 305 feature, and Jamie Miller picked up another dirt truck feature win.
In a truck that was built by someone that you know very well, Scott.
My brother?
No. Probably more important
my
than your
mom?
life. No.
You?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. Sandusky Speedway, it was Clayton Oliver picking up the win in the Renegade feature on Saturday. Riley Jedzers, damn it! Doug Dock actually texted me right before we came on too with the pronunciation there of Riley's last name. Riley Jedzerjack.
Whatever.
Riley won the beginner stock feature, and Don Boron, he's been winning a lot of the pure stocks. Jedzerjack.
Okay.
Jedzerjack. Riley Jedzerjack. I apologize, Riley. Jedzerjack. Sandusky Speedway there. Montpelier Motor Speedway was in action. Derek Losh picked up the modified win Saturday night. Landon Arcaro was the Hornet winner. John Rhodes won the Super Stocks. Andrew Short was the Street Stock winner. Flat Rock also in action on Saturday. Brian Burkaker won the Joy Fair Memorial Late Model feature event. Rob Moore Jr. was a Street Stock A main winner. Taylor Papineau won the Street Stock B main. It was his second consecutive feature.
And that we didn't have to go back to last year for that.
No, second week, yeah.
Yeah.
Waynesfield Raceway Park, scheduled to run on Sunday night, was rained out. Mm-hmm. Actually, they were flooded out from the rains on Friday night. Sunday, Eldora was in action. It was the Johnny Appleseed Classic. Tyler Erb picking up the win there. That also has to do with how many for last week, too.
It does, yeah.
Our Big D's Pizza will be given away shortly. Dylan Woodling was the modified winner. Ernie Woodward won the stock car feature event after his engine went up in smoke on the final lap. So apparently he had a big enough lead to win there. Next up for Eldora is going to be, they got a big week next week, starting on Wednesday. Right. The 28th running of the Dream and the Eldora Million coming up. Wednesday through Saturday, Thursday through Saturday officially, because Wednesday is just a preliminary night, but they're still racing. June 8th, there will be a full program, including a $12,000 to win Twin 25 feature event. So that's actually Wednesday night. Then next Thursday, June 9th, is the Eldora Million, including the $1,002,022 to win feature. That would make my season.
It really would. Now, are we going to do a show next week, Scott?
I think it starts at 7:30, so we might have a half-hour show next week.
There we go.
Yeah. Where's June 10th? That's going to be Friday, a full program, including a $12,000 to win Twin 25s again, and then on June 11th, Saturday, they'll have heats, B features, and the $128,000 to win Dirt Late Model Dream. That would make my season, too.
Yeah.
That'd make a couple seasons for me, really. Gates open at noon every day, and racing starts at 7:30 Wednesday and Friday. Racing starts on Thursday and Saturday at 8 o'clock, so actually we could go to 8.
Ooh, we're all right.
Yeah, we'll be all right. I thought it was 7:30, but yeah. Thursday and Saturday, 8 o'clock starts, 7:30 for Wednesday and Friday next week. General admission on Wednesday is $34, same with Friday night. And then the big races Thursday night for the Million. I don't think I've seen a general admission prices this high for a dirt late model race.
That's got to be
But they are
scary.
racing for $1 million. $74.
Be prepared.
$74 for that. Saturday's admission, $45 for the Dream at Eldora. The Tezos All-Star Circuit of Champions were rained out at Williams Grove on Friday night. Saturday, Anthony Macri won Port Royal, and he also won night number 2, Sunday at Port Royal, winning the $29,000 Bob Weichert finale.
Ooh.
Weichert Memorial finale. World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. Saturday, Sheldon Hodenshield won at Atomic Speedway. He then again won Monday at Lawrenceburg Speedway. Case World of Outlaw Late Models Friday rained out at Sharon Speedway. Ryan Gustin won Saturday night at Sharon Speedway. $20,000 to win show.
Not bad.
Not bad. Yeah. Lucas Oil Late Models. Thursday, last week, week ago tonight, was rained out. Friday night, Johnny Scott won at Lucas Oil Raceway. Saturday, in the 30th annual Show Me 100, $50,000 to win. Chris Ferguson picking that up there at Lucas Oil Raceway.
Good payday.
It is. ARC Series was in action at Charlotte Motor Speedway Friday night. Brandon Jones picked up the win in the General Tire 150. As we mentioned earlier, Marcus Erickson picked up the win in the 106th running of the Indianapolis 500 on Sunday. NASCAR action, the Truck Series Friday night, Ross Chastain won the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. Saturday, it was Josh Berry in the Xfinity Series, Alsco Uniforms 300. And then Sunday in the 600, Denny Hamlin picking up the win at Charlotte.
Yeah.
A pretty spectacular crash with Busher there toward the end.
Yeah.
Where the wheel kind of broke off and was held on by the tether and tucked up underneath and sent the car. It looked like one of those Hollywood stunt cars where they have that thing that shoots out and makes it flip.
Yeah, yeah. And the car wound up like a turtle with its belly up. And
Yeah, there was some talk. It took too long, and it did take quite a while for them to
It almost
turn the
seemed
car
like,
over.
almost seemed like they weren't prepared.
I think it was more of a meticulous process of how they do it. Maybe they need to speed that up a little bit. I mean, the driver was okay, so they verified that first.
Yeah, he
and
was talking to
so.
them.
But I would not want to be hanging upside down for that long.
No.
I would say just flip the car. I'm okay. I can take a little jolt if you drop it a little rough. You don't have to feather it down.
I'm still strapped in.
The
I've got a
car's already
containment
busted,
seat.
so-
There's already junk.
Yeah. So
Get me out of here.
I don't know if that's something they'll look at, but it is what it is. Check out Dominator Race Products, all new Outlaw nose kit, and they have vented metal wheel covers now.
I saw that.
Yeah, pretty sweet looking. Look like little UFOs or frisbees.
Before we get done with all the track results, congratulations to a good friend of mine finishing fourth in the sportsman or the bomber Dominator Super
finished
Stock
fourth.
feature, and probably his best ever finish in a feature event.
Thank you. The car was nice.
And I think he's.
Did I tell you what happened?
I think he's sitting fourth in points too.
Did I tell you what happened to the car? My brother busted it after we won the heat race.
Oh, I saw that.
Because we went, he decided to ride on the side over to get the pictures taken, bent the support down, the body support.
Did you make him fix it?
And then he tried to fix it to bend it back up with the jack afterwards, and he snapped the bar. So the whole right side was flopping the entire feature.
Did that?
He fixed it, though. He did
Was
weld
it a
up
major
money.
distraction?
No, I didn't.
You never saw
I
it,
didn't
did
really
you?
notice it till I was looking at the video afterwards,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow, that thing's really flapping there.
It's like those bars in front of the driver. The green flag drops and those bars just disappear.
Yeah, something like that.
No, they
I
do.
missed the white flag. I didn't see that. I just saw the checkered flag and was like, son of a bitch, I ran out of laps. Oh, well. Anyways, Dominator Race
By the way,
Products.
you did get bottled up on the start.
I did. I saw that. I was there.
Could have been a little farther up than fourth. So anyway, congratulations, Scott. It was a good looking
Thank you.
race. Proud of you.
Thank you. Thanks to my sponsors, Ron Miller Race Cars and Dominator Race Products.
Yeah.
They have body components for late models, modified sprint cars, street stocks, and much more. DominatorRaceProducts.com or call 419-923-6970. Also available from reputable dealers and maybe some not so reputable dealers across the USA. Ron Miller Race Cars, he fits somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah, we're in the middle.
Somewhere in there, yeah. Give Ron a call, 734-856-7223 for race cars, parts, safety equipment, service, everything a racer needs. They were, Sandusky Speedway was doing a Facebook Live at 6, and they were talking about you gave out your number for tires.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Sandusky guys looking for tires, but even dirt guys, you got dirt tires too.
I've got dirt tires. It's a new tire that I just started carrying for Sandusky. It's a pavement tire, and the folks at Towel City told me that I shouldn't look for a lot of repeat sales because once they put them on, they're going to last all year.
Is there a guarantee?
No.
No. Jesse Jones joins us in the studio. Jesse Jones joins us.
Yeah.
Jesse Jones joins us in the studio, fresh off of his second consecutive Sportsman win, and you have a total of 2 Sportsman wins.
Yep, that's correct.
So congratulations!
Thank you.
What's going on? Why are you all of a sudden winning?
Well,
What'd you get figured out? Tell me. Tell everybody else.
Well, last year I drove for Brad Eitenhauer. We had a deal where I'd drive the car, and then at the end of the year, if I wanted to buy the car off him, I could buy it off of him. And we did that, and honestly, it was his coaching. He's just been on me a lot of tough love. He's like, I'm going to try and instill 20 years of experience in you in 8 races. So there was no love lost there. He definitely was hard on me, and it's paid off. The car has not been changed much since we started the year last year. It's just learning.
So the drivers developed.
I'm getting there. There's still a lot to go. We take a lot of film on things, and we go back and watch, and like even the last 2 races we've won, I've nitpicked them like crazy.
Tough love.
Yes, and it's definitely appreciated.
So how'd you get started in racing? I know you got go-karts going on now. Did you start in the go-karts?
Like a lot of guys, like I'm in my 30s. My dad raced in the 90s, and my uncle did in late 80s and early 90s, raced bombers out there. And long story short, Dad got out of it because I decided I wanted to go race. karts. So I started racing karts. Dabbled with that through my teenage years, through high school. Did much indoor racing. We drove dirt. We drove asphalt. We drove road courses at Palmyra. Went to Jackson. Kind of bebopped around. And then
I heard you've had a lot of success in the go-karts.
not as much as I'd like. But
Well, that's always the case.
it's not been bad. I've always been competitive. And a lot of it was, and I don't like to ever make excuses, but like we were usually on older equipment. Tires were a little older, so we just kind of made do with what we had. But Dad always gave me a piece that was capable of doing it. Just had to drive it a little harder. But after that, I took a little hiatus, got in my early 20s, and I was in a band and started playing around a little mini tour type deal. And
What kind of music?
like rock alternative type stuff. Yeah. And then I don't remember when. I think it was like 8 years ago. I just kind of BS with my dad. I'm like, hey, you still got your bomber? And he's like, yeah, it's at a friend of ours in his back of his barn. It was behind the barn. We had to cut a tree out of the floorboards. And it was an old Monte Carlo, stock Monte Carlo, steel bumpered car. And we pulled it out of the weeds and didn't even just put a little oil down the cylinders. It fired up like, all right, let's go race. And I showed up with DOT tires the first night because I haven't been to Oakshade for so long. I didn't realize you guys were on Hoosiers. I'm like, ooh, we brought a knife to a gunfight. It's not good. And everybody's on the 3-link and whatnot. And I'm like, ugh, this is going to be rough. But then it,
How'd you do that first night?
not bad. I think we ran like 7th or 8th in the B
It's not bad.
for a steel body. We're probably 1,000 pounds overweight, probably somewhere around there. But it was fun. It was a learning experience, getting in with the crowd and just trying not to tear anybody up and not tear myself up. The car came back. Well, it was pretty being beat up as it was because we didn't do anything to it. It had the rust on it. It was a relic car out there.
Still had some sawdust in it?
It probably did. Yeah. It was. I think all we did was air bomb some white on it, air bomb the red numbers on it, and that was about it. But and then I got into Ronnie Schroyer's old car, one of Ron's cars. I think it's dated 97 on it, so I don't know if you know what car that is or not.
I do.
But I think I got a picture of you and Roddy running together when it was a red car, red 28.
Yep.
But I got in that, drove that for off and on for 3 years. We had COVID, so I didn't run
That was a Sportsman then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't know what we were doing. And then I got a hold of Brad. Brad helped out with that car. Long story came up. We were talking about that car, and Brad's like, maybe you should get on something a little newer. And that's how that deal with the Rayburn came about. And now we're here. So it's been an interesting journey.
But it's going in the right direction, right?
I guess. I'll be honest, I'm in disbelief. I wouldn't have guessed a year ago we'd be running anywhere up front. I knew, like I said, that deal with Brad and Rayburn I wanted to do because you guys are drivers. You probably can relate to this, but I want to know, is it that I'm an outdated equipment that's, with the 90s, that's how many years is that? 20 years now?
Yeah,
20
probably 25, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, do I have it? I want to know if I'm capable of winning or even running up front. And you just want to, at the end of the day, you just want to belong. I want to know that I'm not someone out there just pretending, like I can actually go out and race. And the last 2 nights have been surreal. I mean, last week was nuts. We were in a pretty loaded heat, and I could hear Joe Smith behind me, and I knew he was kind of pressing the issue, and he never got into me or anything like that. We had a pretty clean heat race, and the feature came out, and I just told the guys, I'm like, I think if we get to the lead by turn 3, I think we'll be all right because the track's pretty slicked off. And
Where'd you end up starting in that feature?
Outside pole.
Okay.
And I made a mistake. I have too big of a carb on it, so if I don't clear the carb out down the back stretch hard enough, it'll fall flat on its face when I start the race. And it did that to me. So I dropped back to like 3rd, almost 4th right off the bat, and I got a little hot-headed, and I just kind of stayed in the throttle and just trail braked it all the way on the high side. And I told my dad, I was like, after we were done, I'm like, I knew we were going to have the lead. I didn't know if there was going to be a quarter panel left when we came out of 2, but it stuck. And that's, again, Brad has a hell of a setup in that car. He did a couple things to it this year, and it just turns wherever I want it to turn, and I can't thank him enough.
Now, you won last year when the track had character.
Yes.
And this past Saturday, that was like a totally different track, wasn't it?
Even as a kid watching, I thought, I've never seen, we got the first hot lap, we were the first hot lap out in Sportsman's, and I was blown away. I was like, this thing is silky smooth. Like, I was telling Ron earlier today, I was like,
did your grin go like this?
I was kind of weirded out. I told you I had like phantom pains because I would come into one and I kept missing the hole, but the hole wasn't there. Like, trying to drive below it or above it. And I'm like, wait a minute, we can go right through this now. But that's props to Oakshade. I'm glad they got that addressed. I know the track was dry. I run a 602 crate, so I'm all about the hard, dry, slick. Pam, Christy, if you're ever listening, don't water it ever. Just keep it dry. But no, it's excellent track conditions. I mean, I know that's been some bad press that Oakshade's gotten over the last couple of years, and they've addressed it. And then if anybody has not been out there in a while, I'd encourage to go watch. You'll see it.
It's like a different track.
It's a totally different track.
Yeah, I had fun. So you got the win now. Do you have thoughts of running for the championship? Are you going to run the full season?
That was the goal early in the year. Our plan was, again, Eitenhauer's been kind of a mentor. We call him Miyagi.
Miyagi.
He's been.
Does he make you wax on, wax off?
A lot more than that.
Okay.
But he told me before on Saturday, he was racing Illinois, crate race down there, and I called him just to kind of tell him, hey, I got some nerves, you know. How do you think this car's going to handle, you know, with the things we changed, and talked about points, and he's like, why don't you just take it 1 week at a time? He goes, just see all you do tonight, and next week get it out of your head, and then focus on the following week. And after about end of June or beginning of July, then start worrying about points. So I was like, all right. So we both talked about it, top 7, top 5s was the goal to start off. Again, I didn't think we'd win. I didn't think we'd lead everything that night, but so now it's definitely. I feel like winning week.
So now your expectations have been raised.
I keep trying to keep them low, and it's on the track. I don't. I mean, I'm on the track. I always, if you're not a driver and you don't think you can go out and win, you don't think you're the best. I feel like you're in the wrong business. But
there are some really good cars in that class.
Oh,
too,
yeah.
Jesse.
There are. But in the pits, I'm a lot more humble. Like in the pits, my expectation is top 5. But as soon as we go over the hill onto the track, it's all bets are off.
It's the car's set on kill.
Yeah, the car. Yeah, there's blood in the water, you know. But no, there's a lot of good cars. I know the Schlenk kid, Carter. He's going to be good. I mean, I watched the video back of him from last week, and
he has a pretty good mentor too.
He's got a really good mentor, but he didn't do bad. A couple times he was right there, just bobbled a couple times, and that's all it took. Obviously, Josh Robinson, the Robinsons, they bring good stuff. They have great equipment. They bring out the track, and Josh is a great driver.
It was hard to pick those cars apart, though.
It was.
This year.
And I watched there was a little accident where Jeff got into it, and I thought it was Josh at first. And we pit next to Josh. We're good friends with the Robinsons, and I was like, oh no, like, you know, which one was it? And
they're sharp-looking cars. They got the Bloomfield.
That's a tribute.
Blomqvist, yeah.
Blomqvist.
It's a tribute to MJ Moore, who passed this year. But we all got MJ stickers in the car and whatnot. But that class can be tough. Honestly, I mean, Carter Murday, he had some engine problems. He's fast. And
Joe Smith
is all the Smith boys are fast. And it's not even just them. I mean, I've watched Gamber a couple nights run great where he's up front.
Black slick track. You never count out Mike Jessen.
Yeah, Jessen is the most patient driver, and I've watched him before I drove at Oakshade. When I was driving Bombers, he was kind of somebody I watched because he's won championships. I'm like, man, he's won championships, but he's just consistently in that top 5, top 3, and doesn't tear his stuff up. And he's for one of the older guys in that class, I believe he's a really good. I mean, if anybody, like, I would encourage Schlenk, Murday, the Rundells, like those kids, watch Mike Jessen. He knows how to get around that place and how to keep his stuff clean.
Nice. You said you started off in go-karts, but you're still running the go-karts. Is that just for fun? What's going on with the go-karts at Palmyra?
During COVID year, I ran with that Idiot Series. It's a traveling, basically backyard series. Me and Tyler Gunn were kind of racing. It was pretty much between me, him, and Tony Bieber, who works on sprint cars or whatnot, and it's usually the 3 of us.
So it was you against the sprint car guys?
Yeah, but it was. I had fun with that. My buddy Brian, who's kind of my crew chief at Oakshade, I got into him like, hey, you want to go with me to these races? It's just hard with a cart with one guy getting out of the truck and stuff, and so I played around with that for a while. Took that off here with the cars, and I ended up deciding I wanted to get a little extra money for the Rayburn, so I was like, well, I'm going to sell my engine. Like I've been building my own go-kart engines, and I had a young kid, Nick Martell, was looking for an engine, and he wanted it, and he's like, hey, you think about building these more often? And I was like, yeah, maybe I'll get into that. And now I got a handful of them out running, and we got a young kid just Friday, got his first feature whenever, and a kid's senior class, and Martell's running opens, and I got my brother running My brother gets kind of the raw end because I kind of experiment on his stuff. He's not getting
the guinea pig.
He's not getting charged anything, so it's kind of like, hey, we're gonna try this out. But karting wise, it's rough, man. Like it's rough on your body. We got done Friday. My back was sore. I have a bum shoulder. My shoulder was sore, and I'm like, I can't. They want me to run tomorrow night for the makeup feature, and I was like, I don't think so. I got a couple things to do on the car yet for Saturday, and I was like, I think I'll just sit this one out. But there's not really a lot of correlation between the two besides just the situations. I mean, getting through traffic and whatnot, but around Palmyra Agent, it gets a little rough sometimes, but it's a little boring. It is what it is. But
now you've got a son that races?
No, I don't. My brother's got
your
two.
brother?
I got nephews. Okay. I got a 3-year-old daughter who keeps saying she doesn't want a go-kart. She wants a race car.
Oh.
Like, you got a long
Screw the go-karts.
She doesn't want orange on the car. Like mine's black, orange and black and white. She goes, I want pink outlines. I'm like, well, you got about at least 14 years and we'll talk.
Yeah.
But no, my brother's kids are running pretty good. His middle kid, Ezra, that kid's got something. I really do. I said it when he was just starting to walk. My kid's ornery. He might be pretty good. His other boy, Jeffrey, he's not bad either. He's a little more timid. I think he's at an age where he's fallen off his bicycle a couple times, so he knows like impacts hurt.
Oh.
His other kid's the kind of kid that, he could fall off his bike, break his arm, he's gonna jump back on it again and do it again. You know.
So have you had a chance to compete at any other tracks in the stock car?
I haven't. I debated if they were going to rain out this week. I was debating about going to Raceway 35 for that steel block race. And Brad kind of talked me out of it. He's like, hey, Oakshade, you have a chance to win. You go somewhere else, you're going to change the car. You're going to have to, he's like, just stick with this year and we'll go with that. But like I said, the plan was run for points. If our season, let's say something, knock on wood, something happens where we're going to have to miss a couple races, then I would be more interested in travel and just trying some other stuff out. Maybe try some 602 races here and there.
Have you had any confrontations with any other drivers?
Not in the big cars at all. Me and Gamber one time, my first night out in that Rayburn, I got into him a little bit, and it was my first heat race out there, and I apologized to him right away. Me and John, his dad, actually bowled together in a bowling league. But Ron, maybe you can speak for this. There's times where you get it. Maybe I didn't mean to get into him, but it was like if I back off, we're both gonna get wadded up. If I just polish you off real quick, yeah, I'm the bad guy. But
yeah,
you spin to the infield, both cars are saved, and that's my only altercation I've had at Oakshade, and it was really, we talked it out, and as soon as I got off the track, I apologized, and that was that. And we've never had any issues since.
Nice. Any future aspirations to go up to a late model at some point?
I'd love to. My financial situation, this is about as far as I can go. I'm very much an economy racer. I know a lot of everybody's kind of worried about how things are going with the tire shortages and fuel. I run pump fuel. Tires, I'm fortunate to have my biggest sponsor, KK Collision. They sponsor me tires. So I'm actually kind of, for America, I'm all about like, hey man, let's get this economy back on track. But as a racer, I'm kind of like, yeah, everybody's kind of back down to my level now. Like, you're all, yeah. I mean, we haul our race car in an open trailer we home built. We have a vandalized, rusty, beat up Avalanche I haul it to the track with the exhaust broken off. I think the truck's louder than the race car.
I can relate.
Fremont's got that steel block race end of the year. Any thoughts on maybe heading over for that one?
We'll see. Have they released the championship night yet for Oakshade? Has that come up yet?
I don't know. I hadn't. Yeah. Last time I looked, it wasn't there. So
it all depends on that. Like I said, where we're at in points. Like I said, I know it's really early in the year, and I'm glad we got a win knocked out. But I mean, that's the goal. I'd like to go for that. And like I said, if anything happens next year, run super. If I did anything super, it's going to be pick and choose where I'm going with that car because again, it's only 350 horse. I'm not gonna. Right. We're not going to be on attack. It's got to be where the track conditions are right and the track size is right. But I mean, the right opportunity came up on hands down jumping one. I did just right now, and that's the best I can do.
and no, I have not seen what night's going to be championship night yet. I didn't ask on Saturday either. It was a little busy opening night and all.
Yeah, but, it was a little chaotic.
Yeah, we got through it.
That's
though.
Good.
Yeah, I was excited about the track. The track was awesome.
You bet.
So do you feel any pressure now to go out and make it 3 in a row this coming week, especially after being our guest on the show?
And hearing how much we expect.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. No, like I said, I'm just gonna go out and do my thing, man. Like Brian, like I said, asked me, like my crew guy, best friend. He's like, hey man, where do you start in this feature? And I go, I start outside pole. He goes, who starts inside? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't even look. I was like, we're just gonna try and get to the front. And like, Hot Carl, you guys have probably seen him. I love this quote where he says, "Watch your own bobber." And I just try to race the track, and wherever the cards lie, they lie at the end of the night. And after that night's over, that night's over. If it's bad or good, and let's focus on the next week after that.
So you're just about ready for this weekend then? Car's all set?
I'm sure Brad wouldn't like me saying this because he's going to go, there's always work to do to it, but we were pretty much ready Tuesday. Like, I jumped on it Monday.
Did you make any big changes since last weekend?
No, I did have to change the right rear. We had a contact with the lap car in the last corner of the last lap, and the tire was holding air. It's on the outer sidewall, and I just don't trust it. And I'm like, I was going to leave it mounted for emergency, and I told Brian, he's like, hey, I got a new one mounted up. I go, I threw that other one away. I didn't want to be tempted by it. It's, it's a feature-winning tire.
Put a knife in the side of it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just take a hacksaw.
I can't do it again.
Yeah, but that's really nothing. We're not changing much. I mean, we're probably the only guys in the pits where we scuff our tires and we're sitting back on the hauler on the trailer and eating a cheeseburger. Like, it's not a whole lot of changes. We're set up for the hard dry slick, so it's usually by the time the white models run, the track's ideal for what we're doing.
So, and you're more in it for the fun then.
I mean, I'm in it for a championship, but
okay.
But
that would be fun.
No.
Yes, that'd be extremely fun. But when it comes like further in my career, I mean, I'm 34. We're going to be 34. So like I see the sport. I pay attention to like what's going on, and for me to do anything beyond maybe running a super someday at Oakshade or maybe trying other tracks, run a small series, I don't think there's too much young talent out there that's coming up. Where I think I've probably
well-funded young talent.
Well-funded young talent, and like I said, I try not to make excuses on the funding deal because everybody's got a situation. But for me, like I said, probably Sportsman's where it's going to be at. And again, unless something was to happen where someone jumped up and wanted to put me in one. But I've never been, and besides Brad giving the opportunity to Sportsman, I never really had that. So just do it on our own.
Well, we appreciate you coming in tonight, and good luck on Saturday and for the rest of the season.
If I get a chance real quick, just want to thank sponsors.
Go ahead.
Please.
KK Collision, like I said, I honestly couldn't do it without them. The tire deal, how much tires cost right now, that's an amazing advantage to have. Eitenhower Racing Services, I mean, I'm not just a customer, he's one of my best friends too. I love talking to that guy.
He's a pretty good racer too.
Yeah, he does really well. And then DJ&J Farms, they sponsored my aluminum this year. Picked it up from Ron Miller.
Yay.
And then the Mad Mullet, which is Brian, and then Marky at War Paint. We did a little barding there, got the decals in the car, and the car looks sharp. So,
yeah, and speaking of that, I have some decals from him. I don't have anything to put it on yet.
Do you want to be fast or do you want to be pretty? You can only have one of them, Scott.
And the last person I want to thank too is my dad. Like I know sometimes like publicly it's not that I forget him, but I'm always the sponsor. You got to talk about sponsors. Now my dad does a lot. I mean, he helped fund the drivetrain underneath of it, and he's always been my biggest supporter out there. So I can't thank him enough.
Awesome, very cool. Got some racing news to bust out here real quick before we get to this week's How Many.
Okay, cool.
Chance to win Big D's Pizza. We'll find out who last week's winner was. Tyler Rohrig. Thank you. He made a back-to-back victories in the Lucas Oil Little 500 at Anderson Speedway on Saturday, and our former guest, the reason I'm mentioning is Larry Kingsley Jr. qualified for his first Little 500, and he started 33rd. Finished 17th.
Big deal for a pavement
I think he did his
racer,
graduation remotely there during that weekend too. So congratulations to him. Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series 2023 Georgia Florida Speed Weeks will run from January 25th through February 11th next year. So they're already putting out the schedule for next winter. They got visits to 4 historic tracks over 17 days with 13 nights of racing action. Gets underway at Golden Isle Speedway in Brunswick, Georgia, January 25th through the 28th. Then it's Bubba Raceway Park for 2 nights of racing in Ocala, Florida. Sunday, the 29th of January, and Monday, the 30th. Teams then take the action back north approximately 1 hour to Lake City, Florida's Alltech Raceway. That's going to be February 2nd through the 4th. From there, Speed Weeks will wrap up at East Bay Raceway Park in Tampa, Florida, February 5th through the 11th. So there you go.
A lot of racing.
Mark your calendars, get your vacations planned. On Sunday night, Houston Speedway in South Dakota was damaged by a severe storm. Did you see any of the pictures?
I did.
Well, you're supposed to say no so I can show you the pictures.
Okay, I didn't. Show me, Scott.
All right, hold on. Let me show you these pictures here. And that was funny because I think they had a race that night before the storm hit that I was watching, and then I saw the news the next day, and I was like, holy cow. So let's see if we can. There's some of the damage there to. Looks like the top row of suites there. The roof totally ripped off. Yeah, there you go. View from inside. There used to be a roof there. Not anymore. Vehicles flipped over. Crap all over the track. So,
but the track is still there.
Nobody was hurt, so that's the good news. And they are going to be hosting some racing, which we'll talk about here momentarily. As a matter of fact, the storm ripped a hole in the boxes above the grandstands. Nobody was hurt at the track. However, a race scheduled for Monday was canceled, so their Memorial Day race was canceled. This weekend, the famed Bull Ring will host the World of Outlaws. It's the first of 4 World of Outlaws shows at the track this season. Despite the damage, they'll still host the race. The race is going on. So, kudos to them. Camping World will return as the title sponsor for the upcoming Superstar Racing Experience season. The series is set to run for 6 consecutive weeks, beginning on June 18th at Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola, Florida. All 6 races will be shown in primetime on CBS.
Ooh.
So, set your DVRs. Legendary racer Red Farmer has been in the hospital with double pneumonia, but an update from the family on Saturday indicated he could be coming home soon. I haven't seen an update since then. So
yeah, that's hit quite a few of our friends and family.
Yeah. In some tragic news, the last news piece here, Greg Maas, flagger at Norway Speedway. Did you hear about this?
I didn't.
It's a speedway up in the UP of Michigan. He was a flagger up there for like 30 years, a flagger, not the flagger. For 30 years, he was struck and killed by a car Friday night during the late model A main. The 65-year-old was working near the pit entrance around 9:15 when he was hit. Ooh. That's all I have on that. I guess there's a county sheriff are doing an investigation into that. So it's dangerous being a flagger. Yeah. Always be aware when you're on the track. Flags don't stop cars.
No.
Walls do, though. Well,
sometimes
they get up on top of the wall. That bomber heat race.
Yeah, that was something.
I was getting ready.
How about the Dominator Superstock race?
Yeah, that's what I meant. The Dominator Superstock race. A car got up between the wall and the catch fence.
I don't know how that happened.
I was getting into my car, getting ready for my heat race, and I just put my receiver, and I hear red flag, red flag, red flag.
Yep.
I'm like, what? And somebody said, yeah, there's a car up in the grandstands. It wasn't quite in the grandstands. It was on the fence. But another reason to stay away from the fence. That's
right.
Why little signs that say stay back.
That car surprisingly wasn't torn up.
No, it wasn't. It just looked like he drove up there.
Yeah, it was weird.
Oh, man. So last week's How Many and a chance to win Big D's Pizza was how many late models were going to be at Oakshade Raceway and Eldora combined?
In total.
So the totals were 28 at Oakshade, 27 at Eldora, so that's 55 total. And Ron, you picked 53, so you're the closest. I was a little bit more optimistic. I picked 63, so I went a little high there. We did have a listener who picked the exact number, Chad Cutsley. He picked 55.
Really?
He was
Very good.
right on the money. So he wins a Big D's Pizza. He has 30 days to claim his pizza. Get with me or Dean Henry over there at Big D's. Shoot him a message, whatever. This week's How Many is Attica Raceway. They're hosting the All-Star Circuit of Champions tomorrow night.
Okay.
How many 410s are we going to have tomorrow night at Attica?
Oh, I won, didn't I?
Yeah, you get to go first. It's all you.
Jeez. 42.
That's the answer to life. Something and everything.
Yeah.
From Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
42.
I'm going to go with 43.
Ooh,
yeah.
You sly dog, you.
Well, we'll give Jesse a guess, too.
Ready? I'll put Scott in a box. I'll go 44.
If you'd like a chance to win a Big D's pizza, go ahead and put your guess in the comments of our Facebook Live or YouTube Live. We'll leave this open until, I think gates open at 3. So 3 o'clock on Friday. 3 o'clock on Friday. If you're listening to us on Spotify or iHeart or iTunes, head on over to our Facebook page when you're done listening and put in a guess, just a number, in the comments, and you'll be entered to win a Big D's pizza.
A very good Big D's pizza.
Yeah, well, you could probably, if you wanted a bad one, he'd probably make you one.
I don't think he could.
You're probably right.
I think pride keeps him from doing that.
Yes, we're definitely gonna. I'll have to talk to him, and we'll have to nail down a date for that live broadcast. This weekend's Big D's Pizza racing menu includes a lot of racing. Oh, we have Ryan Weekman coming up with the weekend weather pit stop momentarily. Tomorrow night, Lima Land Motorsports Park. It's the Keyser Memorial. Thunder Stocks will be in action for $2,000 to win.
Ooh,
that'll be a fun show, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Gabe Mueller and Craig Dipman, a couple of former Oakshade guys.
They've both been running very well there.
Yeah. Modifieds in action as well, non-wing sprints and the tough trucks. Gates open at 5, racing at 7:30. For that, I believe general admission is $12. Don't quote me on it. I think that's what it is. For some reason, I forgot to put that down.
I wonder if Harley White will be there. She's been a pretty regular 360 racer there. Speedway Illustrated had a safety issue on driver's apparel, and she showed off some of her racing scars. Yeah, pretty gruesome, really.
Yeah. Attica Raceway Park, Ferguson Waterworks night featuring the All-Star Circuit of Champion 410 sprints, $6,000 to win there. UMP late models will be racing for $2,000 to win, and 305 sprints, $1,000 to win for them. Gates open at 3, racing at 7:45. General admission is $25 for adults. Saturday, it's R&M Recycling UAW Local 3000 Kids Day, rescheduled from a couple weeks ago, I think, at Flat Rock Speedway. Kids under 12 get in free, and they get a free hot dog.
Ooh.
Yeah. Late model sportsman, street stock, and a 250-lap enduro race. Oh, and the kids' Power Wheels Derby. Gates open at 1, racing at 4 for that. I know that they were only doing the 4 o'clock starts for May, but this one is still a 4 o'clock start for the racing. So make note of that if you're planning to go to Flat Rock on Saturday.
Don't be late.
There you go. I'm guessing it's because it's originally was a May event.
It was a May race.
Oakshade Raceway is going to be hosting the Dirt Track Truck Series. Late Model Sportsman and the Dominator Super Stocks all in action. I wonder if Jerry's going to be racing. Or
I don't know.
He's going to be at Montpelier.
I don't know. Or if Jerry's truck will be there without him.
With some other driver. That'd be interesting. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. General admission for adults, $14 there at Oakshade. Fremont has the weekend off. No racing at Fremont this weekend. Sandusky Speedway will have Pure Stocks, Renegades, Beginner Stocks. And from what I heard before we came on, they're going to do another hot dog race, the second hot dog race in their series there. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. General admission for adults, just $7 there at Sandusky. Montpelier Motor Speedway is hosting the Gas City Montpelier Neighborly Challenge number 2, featuring modified Super Stocks, Hornets, and Street Stocks. Gates open at 4:30, racing at 7:22. General admission $12 there at Montpelier. And I was debating whether or not to put this on. Toledo Speedway's having an all-star monster truck tour thing.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. That's going to be Saturday.
That'll be a big deal for kids.
At gates open at 4:30. The event starts at 7 o'clock. General admission is $10. So there's some people into the monster truck stuff. So something going on at Toledo Speedway. And then looking ahead to next week, Wednesday, Eldora Speedway. It's the Eldora Million Prelims, $12,000 to win for the late models. Gates open at noon and racing at 7:30. General admission is $34 for Thursday at Eldora. Then they'll be racing Thursday through Friday. And we'll talk more about that next week. on the show because we can. Other series action this weekend: World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars will be at River City Speedway in North Dakota, and as we mentioned, at Houston Speedway on Sunday, also in North Dakota. Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, the historic 100 at West Virginia Motor Speedway. That'll be happening tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. Tomorrow being Friday. Let me rephrase that. It'll be happening Friday and Saturday. I always forget people aren't listening to us live all the time, so I should probably specify what day it is. That would be June 3rd and 4th. The World of Outlaw Case Late Models will be at Tri-City in Illinois Friday night. Saturday's race at the Dirt Oval at Route 66 has been canceled due to track ownership issues. That was actually canceled a while ago. So just one race this weekend for the World of Outlaw Late Models, Tri-City Friday night. Tezos All-Star Circuit of Champions, we mentioned Attica Raceway on Friday. Then it's the George Fisher Memorial Freedom 40 at Atomic Speedway on Saturday for those guys. The NTT IndyCar Series back in action. They're going to be in Detroit. Chevrolet Grand Prix of Detroit, Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock on USA Network.
Where's that?
It's an NBC-owned property.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All the NASCAR and IndyCar races this weekend, it's all on cable networks. No broadcast. Cup Series will be at Worldwide Technology Raceway. St. Louis, right? I believe that's where that's at. I think,
Could be.
For the Enjoy Illinois 3000, it's going to be Sunday, 3:30 on FS1. The Xfinity Series Pacific Office Automation at Portland International Raceway. They're going to be over, I believe that's Portland, Oregon, right?
Probably.
That's Saturday at 4:30 on FS1. Trucks also at Worldwide Technology Raceway. That's going to be Saturday at 1:30 on FS1. So NASCAR on FS1, IndyCar on USA.
Okay.
Yeah. Butler has a 5,000 to win compact race this Saturday. Yes, it is St. Louis. Ed Neumeister Racing is going to be at Attica on Friday with Paul McMahon in the seat.
Ooh.
According to our producer, Dave Kemmer. So, update there. Let's check out that weekend weather pit stop with our very own meteorologist, Ryan Weekman.
Here is your weekend weather pit stop forecast. I'm meteorologist Ryan Weekman, starting off Friday at Lima Land and Attica. Both evening races should get off clear. We'll have high pressure in control. It'll be a bit of a cooler evening compared to the heat we had earlier this week. Expect race time temperatures likely in the 60s. For Saturday, we've got Flat Rock. Could deal with a few scattered showers up there into Michigan, but I think we'll be all right. Oakshade, Sandusky, Montpelier, and Toledo. All races beginning in the evenings there. Look in pretty good shape for us. Temperatures likely well into the 70s. May drop into the upper 60s by the end of the race. For WTOL 11, I'm meteorologist Ryan Weekman. Have a great weekend.
It's better than last weekend's forecast.
You bet.
Yeah, which he didn't record. Again, it was my fault. I sent it late. That's about going to do it for this edition of the Hammer Down Racing Report.
Thank you, Jesse, for being here with us.
No, it's been an honor. I appreciate it a bunch.
Thanks to our associate producer, Dave Kemmer, and contributors Matt Swander, John Young, Doug Dock, Bob Stasiak. Not sure who we're going to have on next week. I figured out like on Sundays now.
Yeah,
Who won? Jesse won. I'll see if he wants to be on the show. Something like that.
One of my occasional customers, Chris Benson, area pavement late model racer. I asked him if he would be interested in coming on, and he said certainly. So we'll keep that name as a possibility.
Okay, absolutely. No Hammer Down hotline playback this week. If you do want to leave a message and send us on a mission or just give your opinion on something, everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah.
419-318-3081. That's 419-318-3081. Feel free to call that anytime, day or night, and we'll most likely play it back on the show.
If you forget that number, it's on our Facebook
It's on our
page
website.
and our website.
HammerdownRacingReport.com.
Yes.
Make sure to stop by that as well as our social media. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Hammer Report. Follow us on YouTube. And, of course, you can always listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. And make sure to rate and review us.
Hello, all of our friends in India.
Yes, and Canada.
Yep, we appreciate you.
What's that all about, eh?
Yeah.
Don't you know?
Did you see that that Amy Claire's car was 711 EH this year because they had a Canadian driving it?
I did.
711, eh?
Hey,
Yes,
Who
sir.
was driving that car?
Oh,
Put you on the spot.
yeah.
I did see the car, and I was like, who's driving that? Anyway. Thanks again to our sponsors, Oakshade Raceway, Big D's Pizza, Ron Miller Race Cars, Freeze Frame Photos, Dominator Race Products. If you're interested in being a sponsor of the Hammer Down Racing Report and joining our sponsors, they're the ones that make us happen. You can always call the Hammer Down hotline, send us a message, whatever you want, 419-318-3081. Thanks again to...
and it's not outrageously expensive. I mean,
no, we're very reasonable, and we have a very targeted audience.
and very loyal audience.
Motorheads and that eat food.
Yeah.
Motors and food. We can deliver that audience.
And we can even help you reach listeners in India.
That's very helpful. Thanks again to Jonathan Martin for joining us earlier. Jesse Jones, appreciate it again. We'll be back next week. Tune in live, 7 o'clock. We're out. Get out and support your local track this weekend.
See y'all later.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report, available on demand on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform.